Hello mga students! Welcome again to my class! Ito na nun po ang iyong gurong vlogger ng Kuwait, Guro sa Umaga, YouTuber Paggabi. And today, the boys and girls ni Pepe will discuss to us about the context, the tone, or themes, or in general, that will be under the content of fiction. They will also discuss to us about the difference of fiction and non-fictions, so as the functions of creative non-fiction. And lastly, discuss to us about the elements of drama, okay, parts of script and guidelines in writing a script of drama. So please check this out.
Hey guys, welcome back to our creative writing vlog. Today we'll be discussing with you all what is the content of fiction itself, what goes within it, and what are the rules when writing it. So without no further ado, let's go. First, we need to know what is fiction. So fiction is the work that is created through the imagination of the author itself. This is where the author has the opportunity to create the characters, the plot or storyline, the dialogue, and sometimes even the setting. Now, this is a type of fictional work that does not claim to tell a true story. Instead, it immerses in another level of experience that we may have in real life. This is where you, as the reader itself, get to explore the very imaginative ways on how the author itself recreates a real-life scenario to a more imaginative scenario.
So what are contexts? That's what I'll be talking about. Contexts are one of the main contents of fiction. It is the background, the environment, the framework, the surroundings of an event, or even occurrences. To make it more simplified, context means circumstances forming a background of an event, idea, a statement. In such way, we could also use it to enable readers to understand the narrative or a literary piece. For example, whenever a writer uses a quote or a fact from other sources or for some sources around, it becomes necessary to provide the readers with some information about the source. So this is where context comes in, because context illuminates the meaning and the relevance of the text. It may be something cultural, maybe historical, social, or political. So yeah, that'll be my part.
Hey guys, now I'll be talking about the author's backgrounds for writing their story. So an author's background is influenced by the past when they write. In understanding the author's backgrounds, it enables the readers to know more about the theme and the context presented in any fictional text. So when an author writes a story, it could possibly be about a real-life experience of their past events that they have been through. Some examples of this is when the author writes about a person that they have met in a park whom they have fallen in love with very soon, then that could be a true story of how the author has met their significant other. And another example is if the author writes about a main protagonist struggling in life, then that could be what the author had experienced in their life before becoming authors themselves. The theme of the stories mentioned will be well understood by the readers, especially those who have experienced the same thing. There are many different types of factors for the author's background, and these are the age, gender, geographic location, ethnicity, cultural experiences, religious experiences, social standing, personal wealth, sexuality, political beliefs, parents, peers, level of education, personal experience, and many more. All the factors mentioned depends on where the author is from. They could be from the United States or Philippines or even here in Kuwait. And since those countries have different rules and experience. But either way, the author's readers will be able to understand the well-written and detailed story before or after knowing its theme. So that is all.
Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about tone and content of fiction. Now, the readers must know the attitude expressed by an author towards a given subject or topic to kind of better understand the content of any fictional work. This is called the tone. The tone is the attitude or emotion of the author that creates a whole lot of meaning and perspective to his or her fictional work, apart from theme that they want to convey and the events and experiences that inspired them. Now, there are two types of tone, the objective tone and the subjective tone. The objective tone sets the text in a formal manner and is expressed in a neutral way or a neutral manner. This neutral manner means it doesn't necessarily show any form of strong feeling or expression about a topic. An example would be factual details and scientific data. These do not necessarily need any expression to get the point across. You just have to say it and everyone will get your point. On the other side of the coin, the subjective tone uses describing words that come in the form of figurative speech, imagery, where it creates an idea for the speaker's voice. This tone is mostly informal and has some elements of personal and emotional, since the tone describes the feelings, experiences, and thoughts found in a text. Now, there are a variety of classification that tone falls under that authors can take note of to bring life into their creativity. For example, if they decide to write a happy type of fiction, they may use sentimental, maybe nostalgic, or maybe even satiric for some spice. For example, maybe they decide to write fiction about love. Their tone can simply be loving. Maybe compassionate and amusing could be the perfect tone. These different variations all serve a purpose to an author's work, to elevate and upgrade their work to become more outstanding and phenomenal.
Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about mood. So the mood is the atmosphere felt through the author's word. This is what we feel as readers when we read, during, or after. And this may depend on the situation that is being explained to the story.
So for now, I'll be talking about the theme. The theme is the main idea of the writer of the poem or story wants the reader to understand and remember. A theme is a statement about the topic. So the theme is made for the readers to understand the kind of feeling that the writer wants to express. So there are two types of theme, which is the major theme and the minor theme. Major theme is where the most significant messages are found, and the minor theme is the less important things in the story. So that's it for the theme.
Hey guys, good morning. So for my part of the vlog, I'll be sharing you the story of Evelyn. But just to make it easier for people to understand, I'll be giving you a summary of the story. So Evelyn is a young woman who lives in Dublin with her father. Her mother is also dead at the same time. She dreams of a better life beyond the shores of Ireland because, as I said, she lives in Dublin. Also, at the same time, she plans to elope with Frank. Frank is a sailor who is also her secret lover at the same time. and they even start a new life in Argentina. So they basically moved on and they started to live a better life in Argentina. When her mother was gone, Evelyn is responsible for the day-to-day running of the household. When her mother was gone, she became the woman who is responsible for everything in her house, and also her father became irresponsible. Her father became drunk and only reluctantly tips of his share of the weekly housekeeping money. And her brother, she has a brother named Harry, who is also busy working and is away a lot from businesses. So her brother is very busy, and most of the times he isn't home. And she even has another brother named Ernest, which is also dead, just like her mother. Evelyn herself keeps down a job working in a shop. So she has a job and she works in a shop. On Saturday nights, when she asks her father for some money, he tends to be very aggressive by abusing her verbally. And as I said, his father is always drunk. When he gives his share of the housekeeping money, Evelyn has to go to the shops and buy the food for the Sunday dinner at the last minute. Evelyn grew tired of her everyday life, and so what she did and Frank did at the same time is that they shipped and left and went to Argentina. But as she's about to board the ship, Evelyn suffers a failure of resolve and cannot go through with it. She wordlessly turns around and goes home, leaving Frank to board the ship alone. So this is basically the short plot summary of the story Evelyn, and I hope you guys understood it. And next will be Jan Geronimo, who will explain the theme of the story. So thank you.
And now I'll be discussing about the themes of the story Eveline. The first theme is woman and society. This is because in the story, Eveline is the first female protagonist that Joyce introduces in Dubliners. And many of her thoughts and desires are influenced by her role as a human in 20th century. And for the next theme is many forms of death. This is because in the story, Eveline addresses the subject of death both literally, as when Eveline lists off people in her life who have died, and figuratively, in several other life events that became metaphors for death. She seems to be very aware of death and the fact that she has been left behind either by people dying or leaving her. And for the third theme, which is Catholic values and confinements. In the story, Joyce illustrates Eveline's desire for freedom, but in the end, however, she stays behind. This is partly because of her Catholic background and its religious teachings involving guilt, sacrifice, and promises. There are also some small things in the story that have greater meaning, such as dust, where it is a reminder of her endless task, which seem empty of meaning, but it also represents death or cyclicality of life. Another example is water, specifically the sea, which represents the unknown, which Joyce usually uses it to illustrate Eveline's fear of the unknown. For the last theme, which is the colors brown and red. Brown represents Eveline's childhood image in Dublin, and red represents the changes that has happened ever since Eveline has become an adult, where the contrast from brown to red means change.
Hey guys, so now I'll be talking about symbolism. What is symbolism? Symbolism is the practice of art of using an object or a word to represent an abstract idea. An action, person, place, word, or object can all have a symbolic meaning. When an author wants to suggest a certain mood or emotion, he can also use symbolism to hint at it, rather just bluntly saying it. So, example of a symbol is like the lion. The lion is a symbol of dauntless courage, strength, fearlessness, bravery, and royalty. So that is the example of symbolism.
So today I'll be talking about generalization. So as for me, generalization is like, for example,
your baby is sleeping, you should not like disturb him or like making other noise, because if you fight or if you're like arguing or if you make some noise, then your baby would wake up and cry. And for the other side, when your dog is like interested to the food, but when you're whistling, like you're calling him, he's not like interested to you, because what that makes the dog more interested, it is the food. So that's what I call the generalization.
And welcome back again to our vlog. Today we'll be discussing with you all what is the definition of non-creative fiction and what are some of its examples. So let's go.
Hi guys, so for today we're going to be talking about nonfiction. So nonfiction comprises written works based on real events. Most of the common types of nonfictions are biographies, autobiographies, memoirs, essays, and journalism. An example of nonfiction would be the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Thank you.
So for today, I will talk about creative nonfiction. So creative nonfiction uses the techniques of literature such as narrative, plot, and characterizations, and etc. So creative nonfiction involves writing from personal experience or reporting on others people's experiences. So facts are presented in a literary voice by introducing place, setting, and scene, etc. So creative nonfiction adds characterizations so the readers can relate and become involved more in the story.
So now I'll be talking about biography. A biography is a description of a real person's life, including factual details as well as stories from the person's life. The vast majority of biography examples are written about people who or were famous, such as politicians, actors, athletes, and so on. So basically, biographies are just like writing the past of famous peoples about their lives.
For my topic, I'll be talking about one example of literary nonfiction, which is autobiography. So an autobiography is the story of a person's life as told by that person. The subject of the story is the author. So an autobiography can be very fascinating, just like an imaginated story. You can really tell an autobiography when it's written in a first-person point of view, as he uses I, me, and my. Those are some really key points to tell if an author made a autobiography. So autobiographies are written in first person's point of view, like what I just said. This means that the narrator or the person telling the story is also in the story, or it's like a life experience, real to life experience. So that is my definition for literary nonfiction. Example, autobiography.
Next up, I'll be talking about memoir. A memoir focuses on an event or series of events that evoke a change of view or feelings in an entertaining way. It also helps the audience understand the author more. So, the memoir mainly focuses on the author and their personal experience. It can nearly be about anything about the author as long as it is significant enough to be included in the story. A memoir is used to dive deeper into the author's life, to know them much better, and to understand their perspective towards the story. Not exactly just the story, but the author themselves. So there are 3 steps in conducting a memoir. The first one is choosing a topic in your life that you care about, or as they call it, snapshot. Next up is seeking a deeper theme within the simple description of an event that readers can connect to. And lastly, use your own unique voice in writing. So as we can see with these steps, it uses a technique where we can be able to interact with the audience where it both becomes informative and educational, yet entertaining at the same time, which is the main goal of the memoir, which is to inform and entertain.
So today my question is, what is travel writing means? A travel writing means that you're traveling all around the world. You see how they live, what they eat, and how beautiful their country is. So if you are travel writing, what you should do is that you have to write everything about this country, like what they do, how beautiful that country is, what is their things to do, how they live, how they eat, what is the food they eat, what is their special food, what is their special language, and other type of things.
Up next, here we have is food writing. This is a type of genre writing which includes recipes, food blogs, and restaurant critiques. In simpler terms, this is just basically where the writer himself shows his gratitude and experiences toward the food itself in another level. This is very essential as this is where the chef himself or herself has the opportunity to show the world on how their food is valuable to them. And this is one good example would be cookbooks, because in every single recipe that is within it had been tested properly by a critique reviewer itself.
An example of creative nonfiction is the profile. The profile is a background sketch that provides details of a person and his or her character, an overview of the person's life story, and their highlights in life, like achievements. When writers create a profile, the writer makes the person the focus of the story. The writer may profile a person he or she knows really well, like their mother. Writers may also profile an ordinary person, like a teacher, and maybe even someone extraordinary, like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Now, before writing a profile, the writer's priority is to answer the question, who is this person? If the writer knows the person, he can share details through memory, observations, personal experiences, and personal interactions with the person. Now, if the writer doesn't know the person, the writer conducts research. He conducts interviews with the person. He physically visits them, maybe observe them in their day-to-day basis and how they do this and that in their day-to-day life. Read materials about the person, and etc. Now, a set of guidelines to follow when you want to write a profile is, first, knowing the subject, their personality, their interests. You have to know a lot of things about the person that you want to profile. Number 2, research other information about the person. Number 3, choose a theme that suits your subject. And number 4, interview the person and the people surrounding him or her.
Hey guys, good morning. So for my part of the vlog about the creative nonfiction, I'll be talking about personal essay. So personal essay focuses on the topic through the lens of the personal experience of the narrator. It can be narrative or non-narrative. It can tell a story in a traditional way and even improvise at the same time. Ultimately, it should always be based on true or personal experience. So there are also 3 steps in making a personal essay. The first one is focus on one specific topic. The second one is organize your ideas. And the third one is use language in expressing a way that what you really mean to say. And show rather than tell by using imagery. So that's it for my part of the vlog, and my next groupmate will further explain everything. That's it. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'll be explaining the 8th type of creative nonfiction text, which is literary journalism. So let's get started. What is literary journalism, you may ask? It is a style of reportage that presents true stories in a more narrative way. by using storytelling techniques to create a gripping and personal form of journalism. Literary journalism is also a form of nonfiction that combines factual reporting with narrative techniques and stylistic strategies which are traditionally associated with fiction, such as interviews and reviews. With the help of literary journalism, people who wish to become journalists can use this as a guide, as this type of journalist mainly focuses on reportage. The steps in becoming a successful literary journalist are getting the facts straight from researching, conducting interviews when necessary, outlining the story, using literary devices in writing, and writing dramatic scenes such as dialogue, details, and action, etc.
The last example of creative nonfiction is the movie review. The movie review is the analysis of a film made by a person or collectively expressing the opinions on a movie. A movie review is written with the basic goal and intention of informing readers about the movie. This provides an in-depth analysis so that it helps the readers form an honest opinion and whether they would like it and see it for themselves. And this is beneficial for students like me because it tests the objective analysis skills of a student and the capability to structure out their ideas to easily understand their perspectives. A movie review can be both formal and informal, but when writing a scholarly movie review, formal language should always be used. Now, I will mention a set of guidelines to follow when you are writing a movie review. The first one, select a film and view it at least twice. The second, read about the story behind the film. Include interesting and peculiar facts about the production process, the basis of the story, maybe the cast and crew, maybe also the budget involved, or maybe even the location. The third one, taking notes of the critical scenes of the characters. The fourth one, the introduction should include basic information about the film. The fifth, the main body should include your analysis of the story as a whole and include scenes from your notes. The sixth and the last should be stating the audience and critics' perception. Express your personal opinion and either recommend or not recommend the film.
Now I'll be giving tips for creative nonfiction, on ways on writing creative nonfiction. First we have is writing is reading. Shape yourself into a character. Be honest about the limits of your memory, but not too honest. Your ethical concerns are often for your stories. And lastly we have is don't force your endings.
Now for the 6 to 10 tips for writing creative nonfiction. Number 6. Use telling details and sensory language to convey a clear picture of examples and events. Number 7. Use fiction techniques such as narration, characterization, place and setting, and personal connections. Number 8. Use narrative techniques such as dialogue, pacing, description, and reflection. Number 9. Research the topic thoroughly and provide credible and accurate data and sources to support your writing. Do not plagiarize or invent material. Cite your sources. And lastly, in using data, analyze, interpret, and explain by using facts, examples, and quotes. So, through these last 5 tips, we can see how it mainly focuses on improving the content of the creative nonfiction by enhancing the data gathered and improving the way it is delivered. There are also given tips on how to properly produce the creative nonfiction through the use of different techniques. And these techniques help us make our nonfiction much more informative and educational and overall entertaining.
So that's pretty much it for our video for today. I hope you guys enjoy it and hopefully you learn something on what is nonfiction itself and how there are many examples within it. So yeah, thank you for enjoying the video.
Yeah, going ain't like nigga. Move out the way, please don't be a hero. Bling blow, ooh, she no skateboard P.
Hey guys, welcome back to our vlog number 3. So now I'll be talking about the workers, the story of it. So the worker basically consists of 3 main characters, which is the wife, the husband, and the messenger. So in the first part of the story, the wife was very alone in her house and she's feeling very lonely. So she bought a baby doll and asked her for her company because she's alone. So one day her husband came home carrying a lot of boxes from work, and the wife asked her husband if he got fired, but the husband said no, he did not. So she just said okay and went back to doing cleaning stuff in the kitchen. While the husband was putting back the boxes in the drawer, he found the baby doll there and got mad and asked her wife, what is this all about? And she said, because since he's always in the work, she bought a baby doll as her companionship in her house as she was alone. So they argued and said, okay, fine. They had like made one rule and said that if the husband was home, he won't see the baby doll ever. And then out of a sudden, there was a knock on the door, and when the husband opened it, it was the messenger carrying a message from the office saying what flavor of cake does he want for his farewell party, because he got fired. And then the husband kept on insisting that no, he didn't get fired, he did a great job, worked for so long, but the messenger still insisted for him to choose a flavor. And then the wife asked, you really did fire? And the husband said, yeah, he got fired. He told her the truth. And then they argued again, and then the husband asked the wife if she had told anybody about the baby, and she said yeah, because there was this rude girl who wants to take his spot in the job. So she told her about the baby, and the husband gets so mad and made her choose whether the baby or the husband. And then the wife chose Emma, the baby doll. And that's how the story ends.
So today I'll be talking about Walter Wakes. The worker is an example of drama commonly known as play. Drama or play is a literacy communication that is written either in prose or verse form. A play in prose form falls under the genre of fiction, while a play in verse form belongs to the genre of dramatic poems, such as the famous Shakespeare's plays. The Worker is an example of drama in prose form. Unlike Shakespeare's tragedy, edits and comedies, its dialogues and narration use ordinary language and do not follow any poetic or verse structure. The word drama organized from the Greek word drama, which means to do. Dogs, both kinds of plays are intended to be performed on stage with a live audience. The writer of a play is called a dramatic or playwright. The accompaniment of a play is usually done in a theater. The people involved in the production of a play are called theater artists. Similar with other forms of creative writing such as story, novels, and poem. Drama and poem. Drama is also an effective literary form used by writers to express social relevant issues, widely accepted morals, and universal trust about life.
So welcome back to our creative writing vlog. Today we'll be discussing with you all what is drama and what are its elements within it. Without further ado, let's go.
One of the biggest influences in the drama industry is Aristotle. Aristotle is a world-renowned Greek philosopher who wrote about the 6 essential elements of drama more than 2,000 years ago. His concepts about drama largely influence the way we view drama today. Aristotle's 6 essential elements of drama are the first one being the plot. This refers to the storyline of the play or the flow of the events in the play. The second one, theme. This pertains to the message that the playwright wishes to convey through the events and the characters in the play. The third one, the character. This refers to the people, the animals, and even things that are being portrayed by the actors in the play. Number 4, the dialogue. These are the words or lines of the characters that are meant to be delivered verbally by the actors. Number 5, the music or the rhythm. This refers to the rhythm of the actors' voices as they speak, or the manner of how the actors deliver their dialogues. And the last one, the spectacle. This includes anything that can be seen on stage during the performance, like costumes, designs, special effects, and these. They are also called the visual effects. After a certain period of time, these elements have evolved and the modern theater has identified additional elements to Aristotle's original 6. These added elements are the convention, the genre, and the audience. The first one, the convention, refers to the methods and the techniques that creates the way the play is written and directed. This is also adhered by the dramatists and directors when making or creating a drama. This element is very important to them. The second, the genre. This is basically the type of play. Nowadays, plays can come in a variety of forms like comedy, tragedy, musicals, avant-garde, and historical plays. The third one, the audience. The viewers of the play. They are highly regarded as an important factor by the playwrights and stage directors. They are your moneymaker. They are the people who are viewing your play. You cannot just simply do a play with no one watching. That is why audience is such an important factor that is being considered by stage directors and playwrights. Today, Aristotle's essential elements of drama are further elaborated and categorized into 3 major types. The plays nowadays are being written, analyzed, and determined according to these 3. The literary elements, the technical elements, and the performance elements to be discussed by my other groupmates.
Hey guys, good morning. So for my part of the vlog, first I'll be talking about the literary elements. So literary elements contains script, plot, characters, setting, dialogue, and dramatic devices. So first, let me talk about script. A script is a written version of a play or movie. A script is a written work by screenwriters for a film, television programs, video game, and of course our topic, which is drama. Second is the plot. A plot should contain exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution, and I'll be further explaining this. Exposition is a literary term that refers to the background information the audience needs to know for the world of your story to make sense. Next one is the rising action. The rising action refers to the part of the story after the characters and setting are introduced and where the events of the story begin to create suspense as the character faces conflict. The rising action of the story includes the events that help to build toward the climax of the story. Next is the climax. A climax is the most intense, exciting, or important point of a movie or television show or drama. It is usually the peak of the main highlight of the movie. So as we know, climax is usually the highlights and something like that. And after the climax comes the falling action. The falling action because the main incident happens or it occurs. At the end of the following action, the viewer has arrived at the resolution or the ending of the movie, which is the fifth one. So next one, we're going to be talking about the characters. The characters in drama, a character which is sometimes known also as a fictional character is a person or other being in a narrative such as novels, plays, television series, film, video game, and of course drama also. And next, the fourth one I'll be talking about is the setting. Setting is the time and place when and where of the story. The setting of a story can change throughout the plot, so it can be anytime also at the same time. Next is the dialogue. A dialogue is the most important part of a film because it changes the way we watch and perceive the movie. Dialogue hints at underlying aspects of a character and mentions things that may be important later in the film. And last, I'll be talking about the dramatic devices, which is the sixth one. A dramatic device is a convention used in drama as a substitution for reality that the audience accepts as real, although they may know them to be false. These techniques give the audience information they could not get from straightforward presentation of action. So some of examples of these dramatic devices are monologue, soliloquy, stage whisper, aside, and dramatic irony. So that's it from my part of the vlog. I hope you guys have learned something. Thank you.
Hi guys, so for today we're going to be talking about technical elements. So in technical elements there are four types. You have the scenery, props, sound, and makeup. And to start it all off, scenery is mostly about the backdrops and platforms. And next you have the props. Some examples would be tables, chairs, decorations, anything. Third will be sound, which is the music and effects that you hear and see in a drama. And lastly is makeup, which is the costumes, body paint, wigs, you name it. That is all for technical elements. I hope you learned something. That is all. Goodbye.
So next here we have is the performance elements within a drama itself. So for number one, here we have is acting, as it refers to the manner of an actor which brings a character to life through his or her words and actions. And for number two, here we have is speaking, as we can pertain it to the actor's speaking skills within the drama itself. And for number three, here we have is non-verbal expression, as it includes the gestures, facial expressions, and body movements that the actor employ in their performance itself. Yeah.
For my topic, I'll be talking about one example of literary nonfiction, which is autobiography. So, an autobiography is the story of a person's life as told by that person. The subject of the story is the author. So, an autobiography can be very fascinating, just like an imaginated story. You can really tell an autobiography when it's written in a first person point of view, as he uses I, me, and my. Those are some really key points to tell if an author made a autobiography. So autobiographies are written in first person's point of view, like what I just said. This means that the narrator or the person telling the story is also in the story, or it's like a life experience, real to life experience. So that is my definition for literary nonfiction. Example, autobiography.
So for today, I will be tackling about the last three basic guidelines in writing a script for a play. So the first one is the descriptions. It provides detailed information and information about the character and the events happening in the play. The next guideline is the dialogue. It refers to the lines of the characters and also speaks or delivers in the play. The last guideline is the stage directions. It is written inside round buckets, describe how the actors or how the portrayal of their character on how they are expected to move or to act in their own character.
Hey guys, so now I'll be discussing about some basic terms used in writing stage directions. And these are the downstage, the upstage, the stage right, the stage left, the offstage, and the enter and the exit. So let's get straight to it. The downstage is the area of the stage that is nearest to the audience. So this is where they could be in between, in front of the stage and in front of the audiences. And then for the upstage is the area of the stage that is farthest to the audience, which is near the backstage. And then for the stage right, this is the side of the stage that is at the right side of the actor as they face the audience. And then for stage left, this is the side of the stage that is at the left side of the actor as they face the audience. And then for the offstage, this is when one of the actors are not seen on stage by the audiences. And for the enter is when an actor has walked in the stage to play their part and are also visible to the audience. And lastly, the exit is when an actor is done with their part and leaves the stage shortly after. So that is all for the basic terms used in writing stage directions. Now, you'll be hearing the conception stage from Jan.
Now I'll be talking about the conception stage. This topic focuses on studying and trying to interpret the meaning of the story. This is where we conceptualize the theme and the main contents of the story. Now moving on with the stages. The first stage, which is setting the mood. This means that we should always specify the major settings in the story. You must specify the time and place, and then write additional information about the setting. Next up is the quick play triads. This is where you finalize your story by determining the different parts of the story and deciding whether it is a part of the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, or resolution. For the next two stages, which are writing the dialogue and writing stage directions, which are two very important roles in making a story. This is because the dialogue is going to have a huge impact on the character's role. This is because whatever they say may portray what kind of character they play. And for the stage directions, it is important because the timing on when the characters enters a scene is vital, for the reason that it may give a hint on what is about to happen in the next few scenes. And now for the stage, analyzing the script structure, where you analyze the script made about dialogue and the stage directions. This is where you write your observations down about the contents given, as it may be a good use later on. And lastly, for the stage, putting the pieces together. This is the most important part in the conception stage, since it is where all your ideas and suggestions come along. This is where you combine it all together to make the final script for the story. While in the process of doing so, you must make sure that all the content goes along with one another to avoid misleading information. And lastly, keep the story entertaining and enjoyable for the audience.
So that's it for our creative writing vlog on drama and its elements. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope you guys learned something on more on drama and, like I said, its elements itself. So yeah, have a good day.
Hi guys, welcome back to our vlog, and this time we're going to talk all about drama. So first of all, what is drama? Drama is the specific mode of fiction mainly represented in performances such as operas, plays, mimes, ballets, and etc. It is often performed in theaters, radios, or even in television. It is considered as a genre of poetry in general. But the dramatic mode has been contrasted with the epic and lyrical modes ever since Aristotle's Poetics. So speaking of Aristotle, Aristotle actually said that there are 6 essential elements to complete a drama. These are plot, theme, characters, dialogue, music or rhythm, and the spectacle. More than that, he also said 3 major types of essential elements. These are literary, technical, and performance elements. And since drama has progressed for quite a while, in the modern time, we have now theater identified additional elements, which are convention, genre, and audience. So guys, are you ready to learn more about drama in this lesson? Well, stay tuned because my group mates will be talking about literary elements, technical elements, performance elements, basic guidelines in writing a script for a play, and as well as basic terms used in writing stage directions. See you guys!
Okay, hi there. So, to continue that, we are going to talk about one of the major elements, which is the literary elements. And to start it off, we have one, which is the script. So, syempre, I think this is self-explanatory because, it is a written product of yung playwright. And it contains yung mga dialogues, tsaka mga descriptions ng mga stage directions and all. And then we have number 2, which is the plot. The plot basically refers to yung storyline or yung logical arrangement ng events sa isang play. And basically, yung plot structure of yung drama is very similar to that of a short story. So now, under this plot, there are a lot of plot structures of drama. And the first one is exposition. So yung exposition, it refers to the, initial incidents that introduce yung setting and characters ng play. So basically, it is the part where yung mga yung conflict ng story, it starts to take place. Sunod dun is yung rising action. So that rising action refers to yung events after yung exposition, basically. This is the part where yung parang yung tension nagbe-build up further and yung conflict nagiging more complicated and all of that. And then sunod nun is the climax. So, syempre, ito na yung turning point ng story where yung parang yung greatest suspense is felt tsaka experienced by yung mga audience or yung readers ng play. That is followed by the falling action. So, yung falling action pertains to yung the series of events right after the climax. So, syempre, this is most commonly known as yung parang yung pag-untangle ng events where yung parang yung conflict, it begins to be resolved. After that is resolution. So I think this is also self-explanatory since, this happens when the problem or yung conflict gets resolved, basically. And now moving on, we have number 3, which is the characters. So the characters, this is I think also self-explanatory, are basically yung mga persons or kahit animals or kahit mga ibang identity depende sa anong play yun, they are basically portrayed sa play. And that is all for my part. This will be continued by Eliza.
Number 4 is setting. So the setting refers to the particular time and place the story happened. In the beginning of the script, the playwright usually gives a background of the setting. Normally, the playwright describes what the audience will see on stage in the beginning of the scenes. Number 5 is dialogue. So the dialogue pertains to the conversation between and among the characters in the play. So the appropriate manner of verbal expression and the correct choice of words are necessary for the playwright to clearly establish the motives, the traits, and the attitudes of his or her characters. Number 6 is dramatic devices. So this is for more creative and meaningful expression, so that most playwrights use the following dramatic devices. Number 1 is monologue. Okay, so a monologue is usually a long speech delivered by a single character and addressed directly to a group of people within the play or the actual audience inside the theater.
In this lesson, I'm gonna be talking about technical elements. And there are 4 types in technical elements. So the first one is scenery, the backdrops, and platform. The second one is props, tables and chairs. Then the third one is sound, music and effects. Fourth one is makeup, costume, body paint, wigs, and etc. And my next topic is performance element. So what are performance element? There are acting, speaking, nonverbal expressions. So the first one is acting, refers to the manner an actor brings a character to life through his or her words and action. So the second one is speaking. Speaking pertains to the actor's speaking skills. And the third one is nonverbal expression. It includes the gestures, facial expression, and body movement that the actors employ in their performance.
Hey guys, I'm Patricia Quiroz, and today I will be discussing about the basic guidelines in writing a script for a play. There are 7 guidelines in making a script for a play. Let's start with the plot structure. Before writing an actual script, decide on your theme first. From this theme, you can develop your own storyline. But you should know the difference between your story and your plot. Basically, the story refers to the unfolding of the events, while the plot is the main event of your story. Next is the title. The script usually begins with the title, followed by the playwright's name. A good and catchy title stimulates the interest of the reader while giving him and her the idea of what the play will be about. Number 3. Characters. After the title is the list of major and minor characters in the play. Short description may be given after the character's name. Some plays have narrators too. Just like how narrators function in a short story or novel, they give audience important details about the events and characters in the play. Number 4. Setting. The setting refers to the time and place where the story happens. A play may have one or more settings. Number 5. Descriptions. In a script writing, the descriptions provide detailed information and background about the characters and events before the beginning of the play. Through the descriptions, the readers are given an idea about how the characters feel or what they think about even before the first line is spoken. This can also give an information about the setting of the play. Number 6. Dialogue. The dialogue refers to the lines each character speaks or delivers in a play. Number 7. Stage directors. They are written inside round brackets. They describe how the characters in the portrayal of their characters are expected to move, act, or speak. Stage directions also describe other movements on stage such as sound and light effects. Also, stage directions may be inserted as deemed fit before, in between, or after the lines of the characters. Those are the basic guidelines in writing a script for a play. Thank you guys. See you again.
Hi, my name is Francesca Medina, and today I'm going to present the basic terms used in stage directions. And the basic terms are stage right, stage left, center stage, upstage, downstage, upstage right, upstage left, upstage center, downstage left, downstage right, downstage center, raft stage, wings, the crossover, the pit, the house, the front of house, and the last, apron.
So we hope that you've learned something about drama. Its elements, which are Aristotle's 6 essentially elements, and its 3 major types, the literary, technical, and performance element. So always remember to use the basic guidelines for writing script and terms in writing stage directions. So that's all. See you for more academic vlogs. So bye guys.
Welcome back to our vlog. Ito nga po ulit ang baby girls ni Pepe, and today we're going to discuss about content of fiction. Once again, I'm Patricia Marie Quiroz along with my teammates Ate Sara, Jess, Justine, Leah, Mary, and Eliza. So without further ado, I will introduce the topic. Let's now define what is fiction according to Wikipedia. Fiction generally is a narrative form in any medium consisting of people, events, or even places that are imaginary. In other words, not based strictly on history or fact. In its most narrow usage, fiction refers to written narratives in prose and often specifically novels. though also novellas and short stories. So basically, fiction is created in the imagination of the author. The author invents the story and makes up the characters, the plot or storyline, the dialogue, and sometimes even the setting. Fiction is subjective and evocative. It is made up and indirect in its communication. When we read a work of fiction, it gives us that thrill feeling or makes us imagine impossible and unavailable experience. It gives us that what if or if only questions running in our mind when we read fiction. We read fiction to pass time or for sheer enjoyment. Of course, by simply reading fiction, we can be satisfied and it's like being rewarded. That would be all for my part, guys. Thank you.
So, we are going to talk about the content of fiction. And to start it off, number one, which is the context. What is the context? It is basically the background, environment, setting, framework, or surroundings of events or occurrences. So, parang to put it simply, context means like yung mga circumstances that form a background of an event or like an idea or statement. Parang in such a way as to like enable readers to understand the narrative or like the literary piece. And then ito rin yung like whenever writers use a quote or like a fact from some source, it becomes like necessary to provide the readers some information about the source. And syempre, it's also to give context to its use, diba? And context, syempre, yun yung it illuminates yung meaning and relevance of yung isang text na yun. And kahit it may be something cultural pa or historical, social or political, and more. And now we're going to be talking about the author's background. So, syempre, an author is influenced by his past, diba? When nagsusulat siya. And syempre, in understanding yung background ng author, it enables yung mga readers to know more about the theme and like the context presented in any fictional text, diba? So, parang this includes na yung age, gender, yung mga geographic location, ethnicity, cultural experiences, and etc. And then like all of these are like syempre powerful influences on what the author assumes about the world, diba? Who their audiences are, what and how they communicate, and syempre the settings in which they communicate. And therefore, the more you know about the author, syempre the better you can understand the messages, diba? And that is all. Thank you.
Hey guys, so I will be talking about the content of fiction or the element of fiction, which is tone. So tone is used to better understand the content of any fictional work. Readers must know the attitude expressed by an author towards a given subject or topic. The attitude or emotion of the authors creates a whole lot of meaning and perspective to the story apart from the theme they want to convey and the life and time events that inspire them. So tone is basically like the dynamics or like the mood or feeling of what the author is trying to convey apart from the theme, because theme is the overall. Meanwhile, tone is expressed throughout the writing. And yeah, and to be honest, I think that all of us are pretty much already familiar with tone, because tone is something that we feel while we read the literary work or the fictionary work that the author is trying to like tell us or explain to us throughout his or her work. So actually guys, there are two types of tone, which are objective and subjective. Objective tone is most likely expressed in a neutral matter. Meanwhile, subjective tone is mostly used for like creative writing, and it is more informal in my opinion. When I read about it, it's like objective is more like kind of boring for me, but subjective tends to be more about like the fantasies, the creative writing, the fiction. And yeah guys, that is all about tone, and I hope you guys understand.
Hi everyone, and today I'm going to talk about mood. So, the atmosphere felt through the author's words. This is what we feel as readers when we are reading the story, during or after. And this mood may vary, depends on the scenario that was presented in each part of the story.
So hi guys, I will be talking about theme. So theme is the big idea presented in any fictional text. So basically, it is the overall message, and it is always universal and relative to human experience. So this is the main idea, which may be presented directly or indirectly. So basically, the author is trying to convey what is his idea or what is his beliefs in life in his writing. So theme makes the reader connected to the writing story which they are practically reading.
So to continue, I'll be discussing about Eveline, symbolism, and theme. So first, I'm gonna be talking about the summary of Eveline. So Eveline focuses on a young Irish woman of 19 years of age who plans to leave her abusive father and poverty-stricken existence in Ireland and seeks out a new, better life for herself and her lover Frank in Buenos Aires. But at the end, she decided to stay with her family, which is her father and her siblings, but her mother died already, and she left Frank on the way to Buenos Aires. So to start with, what is theme? The big idea presented in a fictional text, it is the overall message and it always universal and relative to human experience. So this is the main idea which may be presented and directly or indirectly, author trying to convey what his idea, belief in life in his writing. Theme makes the reader connected to the writer, to the writing story they are reading. So there are three things that I'm gonna be discussing about the story Eveline. So the first one is woman and society. So Eveline is the first woman protagonist that Joyce introduces in Dubliners, and many of her thoughts and desires are influenced by her role as a woman in 20th century Dublin. Whether or not she is aware of it, her decisions are greatly affected by outside social forces. And the second one is the many forms of death. Eveline addresses the subject of death both literally as when Eveline lists of the people in her life who have died, and figuratively in several other life events that become the metaphor of death. She seems to be very aware of death and the fact that she has been left behind either by people dying or living. So that is an example of the death of her mother that explains in the story. So the next one is the Catholic values and confinements. Joyce clearly illustrates Eveline's desire for freedom, but in the end, she stays behind partly because of her Catholic background and its religious teaching, involvement, guilt, sacrifice, and promises. So in this part, at what it says is that she stays behind. So that means she either stays with her family than going with Frank to Buenos Aires. So with all those Catholic values, she decided to stay with her family to sacrifice from the promises. And now I'll be talking about the symbolism. So what is symbolism? Symbolism is a literacy device that uses words, people, marks, location, or abstract to represent something beyond the literal meaning. And now I'll be giving three symbolism in the story of Eveline. So the first one is dust. Dust represents monotony. The dust is a reminder of her endless daily tasks, which seems empty of meaning. Dust also represents death, and it calls to mind the biblical phrase from dust to dust, which implies that dust is simply the absence of existence, either pre or post life. The second one is water. Water, specifically the sea, represent the unknown, and Joyce uses it to illustrate Eveline's fear of the unknown. His image implies that the very thought of leaving Dublin and entering the unknown seas is causing her emotionally distress, and perhaps heart's palpitation as well. She feels that Frank is drowning her into the seas and that eventually he would drown her. So the third one is brown and red. Brown represents Eveline's childhood image of Dublin. And the red represents the change that have happened in Dublin since Evelyn has become an adult. So this contrast from brown to red is a change.
That's it, guys. We hope that you enjoyed listening all about the content of fiction, and we hope that you learned something new. We hope to see you in our next vlog. Bye!
To our Creative Writing Girls vlog. Sorry for the hair, kind of kakagising lang. Today we're going to be tackling about a lot of things. So we're basically defining creative nonfiction. And to start it off, what is nonfiction? So nonfiction, that is the one that compromises written works based on yung mga real events. Syempre, yung mga most common types ng mga nonfiction are yung mga geographies, autobiographies, essays, and journalism, and etc. Yung mga examples ng mga nonfiction na to is yung mga autobiography of yung Benjamin Franklin, and then an essay of like the studies by Francis Bacon. Now, let's get it all started. Passing it on.
Hi guys, so we're going to be talking all about creative nonfiction. So creative nonfiction uses the techniques of literature such as narrative, plot, characterization, and etc. And it also involves writing from different experiences, maybe your experience or someone else's experiences. But the way it's presented, you use a literary voice to present it that introduces like setting, place, scenes, and etc. In creative nonfiction, there's also characters or characterization so that the readers can relate and become involved with the story. And basically, some examples might be familiar to you guys, which are autobiographies, memoir, travel writing, food writing, personal essays, and etc. Creative nonfiction is kind of similar to nonfiction, but creative nonfiction has kind of more like an informal way of writing. So yeah guys, let's go on to the next topic.
In this lesson, I'm gonna be talking about the biography, autobiography, and memoir. So to start with, I'm gonna be talking about biography. So biography provides details regarding the life of a person or a thing in an entertaining but informative manner. By the end of a biography, the readers feel like they are well acquainted with the subject. And the steps of writing a biography is the first one is select a person you're interested in and find out basic facts about him. The second one is do additional research about that person. So the second one, I'm gonna be talking about autobiography. So autobiography tells the story of the writer's own life. The authors often want to make sense of events in their lives and to communicate an important personal statement about their life. The author may also want to give credits to people who influence them. And controversial individuals often write autobiographies to explain or justify their actions. And now, I'm going to be giving the steps of writing the autobiography. So the first one is create a timeline of your life events. Second one is identify the people who made an impact to your life. Third one is select the best stories of your life. And the fourth one is to write it in your own voice. So to simplify, biography is the life history of an individual written by someone else. And autobiography is the story of a person's life written by that person. And now I'll be talking about memoir. So memoir, it focuses on an event or series of events that evokes a change or view or feelings in an entertaining way. It helps the audience to understand the author. And now I'm gonna give 3 steps of how to write a memoir. So the first one is choose a topic you care about, a snapshot of your life. Number 2, seeks a deeper theme within the simple description of an event a reader can connect to. So the third one is use your own unique voice in writing. So the difference between autobiography and memoir is that memoir focuses on reflection and establishing an emotional connection, rather than simply representing the fact around their life. So to simplify, biography an account of a person's life, autobiography an account of one's own life, and memoir a personal account of a specific time or experience.
So, let's proceed to another example, which is travel writing. From the word travel, it is about adventure, going from a place to another place. It is a genre of writing in which it describes the places they have visited and their experiences while traveling. It is a way of transporting to the reader to new places. When done well, it can even inspire others to explore. Travelers write their experiences in some interesting places and circumstances. It includes vivid descriptions, illustrations, historical background, and possibly maps and diagrams. And there are steps in travel writing. There are go on adventure, start with clear storyline, describe the place in great detail and use imagery. And lastly, get the facts about the place, people, events, culture, and etc. Next is food writing. We all know what is food already, but in this writing, we don't easily write names of food. This writing includes communicating information about food, like type of works by food and restaurants, critics, recipes, blogs, food historians, and description of many tastes of different food.
Ayan mga ka-GVkers, you have heard the different points of views and opinions of our boys and girls ni Pepe. And if you want to share your thoughts and opinions, please comment below and don't forget to click the notification bell in order for you to be updated if I have new videos. And don't forget to subscribe because as I usually claimed, subscribe now, laughed, and learn later. Once again, ito na lang po ang inyong gurong vlogger ng Kuwait. Ayan. Guro sa umaga, YouTuber paggabi. Telling to you, God bless and always keep safe. Bye-bye!